Sure. Hey Chuck, just been a week off now. What just can you give us a little rundown what the past week has been like for you guys and what your schedule has been?
Yeah, it's been a good week of practice, really focusing in on us as a team, and a lot of individual work early on in the week, and then as we got closer to game day, starting to prepare for North Carolina A&T.
What's been the biggest difference for DJ right now? I mean, he seems like not only is he more aggressive, but he's, like him and Boogie are working better together recently. What's been kind of the biggest difference maker for his elevated play?
Well, I think DJ has spent enormous amount of time in the gym working every single day. And I think the last few games the fans have been able to see all the work that he's put into it. Obviously, he's playing with incredible confidence. He's shooting the ball with incredible confidence. But, DJ, he did it last year. There were moments before he got hurt that he was shooting close to 40% from the three-point line. And we're starting to see that. I think the fan base here is starting to see what we've known all along.
And Billy started the season out really strong, has had some games with minimal minutes recently, and Carter was kind of the opposite, where he's kind of coming along. Is that normal for freshmen, kind of the ups and downs? But overall, how much do you guys like with your small rotation need them both to kind of find some consistency over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think it's exactly right what you just mentioned. Those are ups and downs that Carter and Billy are going to go through, but they're not the only freshmen that are experiencing that throughout the country. Every freshman at some point plays really, really well, and then at some point during the season has a tough stretch. But as you mentioned, we need both of those guys to continue to grow, develop, understand what we're asking of them because they're both really, really talented, and they both can help us. Anthony.
Yeah, Chuck, if I'm not mistaken, it seems like you guys are going to be playing against your son. Just how excited are you and him for that opportunity?
Yeah, I'm proud of him, and I'm excited for him to go through this experience to be a part of a Division I program. I called him yesterday to see how he was doing, and the very first question I asked him yesterday was, "How did you finish the semester?" He said, "I got a 3.5." I said, "You're short. We were shooting for 4.0, but we'll take a 3.5. We'll take a 3.5."
And then obviously A&T, their top two, I guess, producers are Landon Glasper and Ryan Forrest. Just what have you guys seen from those guys in the scouting and just kind of what makes them, I guess, their go-to guys?
Those guys they're really, really talented. Number one, like they can score the ball as well as anyone, any guards that we've faced thus far. They really can. I'm not just saying that. What makes them dangerous is they can make tough shots. They'll take tough shots. They can make it from deep beyond the three-point line, or they can pull up from the mid-range. And anytime you have a backcourt that can score on three levels, it makes it hard for the opposing team. So we've really got to lock in on those guys tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, and with Landon Glasper being a Fayetteville kid and then Ryan Forrest being another Arkansas kid, is that something you guys maybe consider at all? Them playing close to home or at home in Landon's case, that maybe they're gonna, have a little extra motivation. Is that something you guys consider at all?
Yeah, absolutely. It's only natural for the local kid to play really, really well. I think we experienced that a week ago in New York City. Boogie and DJ played unbelievable. Obviously, Boogie's from New York and DJ right down the road. So this is no different. These kids are Arkansas kids. One in particular is from here in Fayetteville. So they're going to be pumped up and rightfully so. They're going to have tons of support, family members and friends. So we're anticipating those guys, playing really, really well at a high level. Connor?
Hey, Coach. Trevor Brazil's been really big for y'all the last couple of games. He looks like a completely different player than years past. Cal's kind of touched on it a little bit, but what has stood out to you about how he's kind of played this season?
He's been great from day one. Let me start there. Like even in summer workouts, he really bought into what we were trying to teach or what we're trying to teach. He never resisted any of the teaching or philosophy. I think he's gotten stronger. I think he's become more of a physical presence on both ends of the ball. He's not settling maybe for threes that maybe he's settled for in the past, and he's attacking the rim with a force that we haven't seen in the past. TB is tremendous. We're happy that we have him. We're happy that he decided to stay another year, but he's really put the work into his game starting in the summer, but really picked it up in the fall, and we're starting to see that the last few games.
And now, Adu Thero missed last game. Obviously, y'all have had a couple guys banged up. Do you expect to be at full strength on Saturday?
We're still trying to figure that out. That's kind of been the theme of the year thus far. We've had a few guys who've gotten healthy, and then a few other guys have gotten banged up. So, but that's college basketball for you. That's college athletics. So it's day by day. But hopefully, we'll have enough guys to compete and walk away with a win tomorrow.
And then last one from me, obviously 2 games left before conference play. The SEC looks really, really stout this year. Just what have y'all kind of focused on and kind of improving? Is there one area that y'all see y'all really need to get locked down before SEC play starts?
I don't know if it's one particular area. I know we've really put a lot of effort into our defense and taken away the 3-point line. Uh, when you have a young team, or in our case, a combination of a young team and new guys in the program, the biggest thing for us is for those guys to understand how we do it. How we do it here with Coach Cal, how we do it here at Arkansas, and that takes time. But I think the last few games, the fans are starting to see glimpses of what we can be, and we're starting to grow to a better defensive team. We're starting to become a little bit more cohesive on offense, as you guys mentioned DJ and Boogie playing well together, and TB starting to come along. So I don't know if it's one particular thing that we've been focused on, but defense. We've we're trying to tighten a few things up on the defense side of the ball, and we're starting to come along, as the year goes on.
Jackson?
Yeah, kind of building off that, Coach. When Cal first got here, he said it's going to be a process. We want to be better, January, February than we were in November. I'm just like overall, has anything surprised you about the process here, maybe other than the injuries? And how would you kind of assess like where y'all are at as a team from where you expected to be at this point of the season when things got going?
I think the biggest thing for us is, get better every practice, get better every week, every day, every week, every month. And I know it sounds like a cliche and coaches talk, but I think people who have really watched us this year can attest that we have gotten better. And you know, I think I think we're in a good place right now. Obviously, there's more room for improvement, but we're certainly happy with the newcomers and the freshmen. They're starting to really understand what we're asking of them on both ends of the ball, and we've had moments. We've had moments where you watch our team and say, "Man, that's going to be a really good team." And the one thing I'll say about our guys is our team has been really resilient and tough and has demonstrated grit on several occasions. The game in New York City, got away from us early on. You got to credit Michigan for that. They got off to a great start, but we showed incredible grit and resiliency to come back and not only tie the game, but take the lead and then pull away at the end.
And you guys hadn't really played many two big lineups based off kind of injuries, part of it and matchup, I'm sure. And then you were forced into it at Madison Square Garden, and TB and Jonas did really well. I know there's hasn't been much scrimmage time, but how have you guys been able to get a good look at that in practice, or was it just kind of throwing it into the fire with TB and Jonas, playing a lot of minutes together, especially the past 2 games?
We've talked about it this season, but as you mentioned, we've not had the opportunity to scrimmage to actually see it. Going into the Michigan game was probably the window where we had the healthiest team, so we were able to see what it looked like for 2 or 3 days. But you never know. You got to actually do it. And as you mentioned in the Michigan game, it looked pretty good. So it looks like this is a lineup that maybe moving forward we could play, which is a good thing. But we've been able to, Coach Cal's been able to play big lineups, small lineups throughout his career. Obviously, having the ability to play with two bigs, I think, is going to be beneficial moving forward. But But I think whether it's a big lineup or a small lineup, we'll be able to figure it out and make the adjustments as the season goes on.
Anthony, hopefully you can give us a two-part or a three-part question here to close us out here.
I've got a couple questions. So
There you
not,
go.
no two or three parters, but two questions. Um, but you mentioned, improvement, just kind of gradual improvement. The 3-point shooting has kind of been one of those areas, especially in recent games, that you guys have kind of seen that. Just are you guys just getting better looks, or what's kind of gone into that aspect of the game?
I think two things. I think the kids have been really putting the work into it, the effort into it, and sometimes you can put the work and effort into it, and you just don't get the results. So it's not like they're working any less. It's not like they were working any less. They're working at it, and it's starting to click at the right time. I think the second thing that's been super beneficial for us is you guys have mentioned the lineup with the two bigs. When you got Jonas Adu and TB, and you throw the ball inside into the post to Jonas, you're going to draw a double team. And Central Arkansas, I think, was an example of that. Anytime the ball went into the post, they double teamed Jonas, and he did a great job of making the right reads out of the post, which forced rotation and gave us pretty good looks. So I think anytime you can throw the ball in the post, and you got a post threat, it's gonna draw double teams, which then allow us to get maybe better looks on a perimeter.
You've talked a little bit about Boogie already. Coach Cal has talked about how he wants him to get a triple double at some point this season. Just what makes him the kind of guy that is capable of that, and where have you kind of seen him grow the most since he's been on campus?
I think defensively, he's starting to understand scout reports a little bit better. When you're the best high school uh, point guard in the country, it's hard to be challenged every day. So I think, coming here, he's starting to understand that it's not just about talent, which he certainly has talent, but so does the other team. The other point guard on the opposing team is pretty good too. I think him paying attention to detail and scout report, understanding the strength and weaknesses of the opposing teams and how we can take advantage of those situations, he's made tremendous strides over the last month.
All right, Coach, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you guys having me. Thanks, guys.